In this video, I'll do a quick introduction on the formula on the quotient rule. Don't plan on proving it, but I'll give you an introduction and then give you just one baby example. And in this case, we will take the derivative of a quotient of two functions, and that's why we call it the quotient rule. Okay, so if y is the quotient of two functions that we are able to differentiate separately, then we can get the derivative of the function f of x over g of x. This is something that might look like x squared plus 2x minus 5 over x to the fifth plus 4x squared or something. So a function that we can differentiate and a function we can differentiate, then I have a quotient of two functions. So that's the idea, okay? All right, so the quotient rule says the following. Suppose f and g are differentiable. Differentiable functions at, let's say, the point A. Okay, suppose f prime of A exists, g prime of A exists, and suppose g of A is not 0. Then the derivative of, let's call this h of x, the derivative of h at A can be calculated by taking the derivative of the first times the second at A minus the first function times the second derivative, the derivative of the second function, divided by g of A calculated quantity squared. Okay, that's what the quotient rule says. And the proof is not really too complicated, but we will focus on examples in this case. So in short, if I have y equals f of x over g of x, then y prime is f prime of x times g of x minus f of x times g prime of x divided by g of x quantity squared. Make sure you differentiate the first function first. Okay? Unlike the product rule, when it does not matter which one you differentiate first. In the quotient rule, because the middle connector is minus, it makes a difference which one you differentiate first. If you differentiate the denominator g and multiply by f and then minus the derivative of the first times g, then you would be getting the negative of the derivative of the function that you're planning to get. So that would be an incorrect calculation. So I will do examples in the next few videos.